Our last lesson for the quadratics unit is converting from vertex or factored form back into standard form. I decided to start with factored form first because we actually saw this back in Try 1 when we learned how to multiply polynomials. So this first piece should be a review, but we need to jog our memories sometimes. So the way that we multiply binomials is what I call double distribution. You take your x and you distribute it to every piece in the second term. So we're going to do that first. So I get x times x, which is x squared, and x times positive 2, which is a positive 2x. Then we distribute our negative 7, don't lose track of your signs, to every piece in the second set of parentheses. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x, and negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. The last piece is to combine our like terms. So we have y equals x squared minus 5x, 2x minus 7x is negative 5x, minus 14. One more example of factored form. This time I'm going to multiply my binomials together first, and then I'll distribute my 2 through. You're much less likely to make a mistake if you distribute that 2 last than if you distribute it first. The reason is, if you think about it, if you had 2 times 4 times 3, you would not multiply the 2 by the 3 and the 4. You would just do 2 times 4 is 8, times 3 is 24. Same thing with the 2 on this one. A lot of students, when they see that, they want to distribute it through both sets of parentheses. But then what you really are doing is multiplying the 2 twice, and we don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to start, like I said, by distributing our parentheses. X times 3 is 3x. X times negative x is negative x squared. 4 times 3 is 12. And 4 times negative x is negative 4x. So you may notice this is in a different order than the one we had last time. We're still going to find those like terms and combine them. And I'll put this in standard form for you. In standard form, we put our squared term first. So I'm going to keep that negative sign on my x squared when I move it to the front. I'm going to combine the like terms of 3x and negative 4x, which gives me negative x, and then the plus 12. Finally, I can distribute that 2 through everything. 2 times negative x squared, 2 times negative x, and 2 times 12. Next, we're going to take a look at vertex form. It's kind of similar to what we just did on that last one, where we're going to multiply our x plus 3 by itself, and then after we're done multiplying, we'll subtract that 5. First, we're going to write this out the long way. X plus 3 squared means multiply x plus 3 by itself. So again, it's really tempting for some students to just distribute that square, but you miss part of the answer if you do it that way. So we're going to start with our double distribution like we did on the last one. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 3 is 9. We can just throw that minus 5 on the end. And now we have 2 sets of like terms to combine. We've got our 3x plus 3x gives us a total of 6x. And 9 minus 5 is 4. Final example. This one, again, we're going to multiply the x plus 2 by itself. Then we'll distribute the negative 3, and then we can combine like terms with that plus 9. So I'm going to start off again writing this as x plus 2 times x plus 2. So now this looks a little bit like that second example of factored form, except we've got that extra plus 9. So I'm going to double distribute first. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. I am not going to combine the 4 and the 9 right away on this one like I did on the last one because I've got that multiplication by negative 3. Next, I'm going to combine my like terms inside the parentheses. So we have our x squared. 2x plus 2x is 4x plus 4. That 9 stays on the outside of the parentheses. Order of operations, we have to multiply by that negative 3 before we combine our 9. Now I'm going to distribute that negative 3 into the parentheses. Negative 3 times 4 gives me a negative 12. And finally, I can add my negative 12 and my 9. So I get negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 3. And finally, you have two U-try questions, one in factored form, one in vertex form. Come to class with these attempted so we can start our day on a productive note.